Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the man with the best beard in the business, my co-host every Sunday, Mr. Cam G. Cam, how you doing on this wonderful football Sunday?
Man, I'm here, man. Ready to talk about some football. Got some big games today for sure, so ready to check those out.
We got a late jump today. All my fault. I apologize for the late jump, everybody who was anticipating the Sunday edition of the Huddle Podcast. I overslept, and I'll admit it. It was my fault. You know, fresh air sometimes does it to you. I slept with the window open, which was probably my biggest mistake. Got to learn to close that window during these winter times because that air is so fresh during the winter time. So fresh. You know, Cam, we got some breaking news. We got to break it. Something that was just announced. The Cleveland Browns, they have somebody traveling with them to Las Vegas. That's unexpected. You ready for this one?
Okay.
Quarterback Deshaun Watson is traveling with the team to Las Vegas to be on the sideline to mentor and help Shedeur Sanders through the game against the Raiders today. Deshaun Watson is back on the sidelines in Cleveland. Now, I thought this guy was done. I thought he was done in Cleveland. I thought after everything that we were never going to see him in a Cleveland uniform again. Even during the offseason camp when we talked about the draft and the quarterback situation in Cleveland, I did not include Deshaun Watson. I felt like this guy was gone. Done. Vamos. He's back on the sidelines, and he's going to be helping Shedeur Sanders through this game in Vegas today. Now, you look very intrigued by this and very surprised. So, by all means, if you got a thought on this, the floor is yours.
I'm not quite sure what to think of that. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. It's probably the smartest decision I think Cleveland has done in a long time. Just because, you know, you got somebody who's a veteran quarterback in Deshaun Watson. I think somebody who is more familiar with the Cleveland Browns offense, I think, as opposed to Shedeur Sanders. And he can't learn anything from Dylan Gabriel, obviously. Dylan Gabriel is also a rookie as well. So it makes sense. Honestly, it does. If you're going to have any, have him get help or mentorship from anybody, I guess it would be Deshaun Watson. So I guess it makes sense. It's just a shocking move to pull out of the blue, I guess you could say. So interesting move, but smart though.
My biggest question is how much has this guy been in the building since the season started? Because there's been no talk of him being in the building. There's been no talk of him being around the team. You don't see him during any film on this team, and out of nowhere, oh, he's traveling with the team to Vegas, and he's going to mentor Shedeur Sanders through this Vegas game. Like, I don't. You made it seem like the guy was gone. Back when the draft happened, you drafted two rookie quarterbacks to have a competition for the next maybe 2 years to determine who's going to be your guy moving forward. Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Because Deshaun Watson was basically written off in Cleveland. And now out of nowhere, he's traveling with the team to Vegas to mentor Shedeur Sanders. And the other thing is was this guy in the building the whole time and we didn't know it? Because how's he going to, if he has not been in the building and he has not been going through the playbook and he has been not doing anything with this team, what mentorship can he really do for Shedeur Sanders other than keep him motivated? I mean, maybe that's what Shedeur needs, is just to be kept motivated. But that's a problem. If you need to bring a quarterback who's been suspended and dealing with injuries all year and has not been near the facilities, how much motivation is he going to give him? I'd be worried. If I was a Cleveland fan, I would be highly worried about this. Now, do I think Cleveland's going to go out and win this game today against Vegas? Yeah, I do. But I was thinking that even with thinking Shador's going to go out there and have a great game. Not Deshaun Watson on the sidelines trying to mentor him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And if I was Deshaun Watson, I'd be sitting here thinking, I'm coming in to mentor a kid that could possibly be taking my job. Because after everything that Deshaun Watson's been through, not only personal, but with the injuries, the guy got injured off the field, out of the building. He injured himself doing whatever the hell he was doing. I mean, now it throws some concerns up for me as an owner. Like, how do you re-injure an injury that just got worked on when all you're supposed to be doing is rehabbing? How'd you do it? What were you doing? Because you're costing me money right now. The money I'm spending on you, I can go out and get a quarterback that's going to be in the building. Not go out and do stupid shit. Excuse my language. Sunday morning. But be here and do what they're supposed to be doing. Now, if you get injured on the field or in the facilities, working with the team and everything, I get it. But you were gone. You weren't here. We drafted 2 quarterbacks to possibly replace you. If I'm the rest of the NFL, I'm looking at this too like, do we really want to bring this guy in? I really hope that he's going to do some good for Shador today. And I'm thinking it's just to keep him motivated. But again, what level of motivation can he really give Shador Sanders? Because he hasn't even been motivated himself as far as the eye can see. Now, we don't know everything. We're fans. We're on the outside looking in. We don't know everything. But what we see and what we know isn't very motivating to the thought that Deshaun Watson is back in the building with Cleveland and going to work with this kid during a game. If I was a Cleveland fan, I would be worrying about this today, just because if this was your plan all week, why didn't you say something so that the fans know and that we know, hey, Deshaun Watson's going to be there, just to let you guys know, and he's going to be there to help Shador Sanders through this game against Vegas today. So be prepared for pretty much anything. If y'all thought there was no drama in professional football, guess what? There is. There is. There's drama. And this is it. A team that is grasping at the seams to stay alive in a playoff race that they're not alive in at 2-8. But still, they're still alive contentionally, officially by the NFL, because they haven't been eliminated yet. So in the NFL's eyes, they still have a chance if they do things right and things go right for them. So I don't know, Cam. Should be interesting. Should definitely be interesting. Well, Cam, yesterday, week 13, college football. I'll say this. Looking at the schedule last week and everything that I know about the top 25 throughout the season, you look at some of these games, you're thinking guaranteed wins for a lot of these teams in the top 25. Ohio State against Rutgers, Georgia against Charlotte, Alabama against Eastern Illinois. You're thinking these are all going to be blowouts. And initially they were. Ohio State defeated Rutgers 42-9. Georgia beat Charlotte 35-3. And Alabama beat Eastern Illinois 56-0. Notre Dame defeated Syracuse 70-7. 70-7. Syracuse. But the game that I paid attention to was the Oklahoma game. That was the game that had my attention since the beginning of the week. Not only because it was one of the only top 25 games on the docket, but Oklahoma has been a team that has really caught my attention throughout the whole season, because Oklahoma has been on their way up all year. They've had a couple hiccups, two losses this year, but they were taking on the number 23, 22, 23. At the time I did these notes, it was before the update of the top 25. Missouri was number 23, not 22. Taking on Missouri. And I'll say this, catching the glimpse of Oklahoma that I was able to catch yesterday watching this game, I will say this, that offense, it's either Missouri's defense is really good or the Oklahoma offense is truly not strong enough to go into a college football playoff and take on some of these powerhouse schools like an Ohio State or Georgia, because they only put up 17 points against Missouri, who scored 6. They end up beating Missouri. But John Mateer, the quarterback of Oklahoma, is very, very impressive. I don't know if you've watched Oklahoma at all this year, but John Mateer is one hell of a quarterback. If you have any thoughts.
Well, I mean, just on just Oklahoma in general, I mean, I think they kind of proved themselves against Alabama. I don't think anybody expected to, for them to beat Alabama. So they can have these kind of games where, I guess they struggle against other teams that, maybe also want to, prove themselves. So I would say that's just, more of a testament to the other team against Oklahoma. And again, I think their defense has just really stepped up. They realized the threat that Oklahoma really is. Other than that, I honestly do think they are still a major threat in a playoff bracket, in a playoff, in any playoff game, whoever they end up playing, because it's still not even really set in stone. I mean, things could change. I don't know how much things could change between now and the end of the season, but we'll definitely have to see there. But yeah, no, I still think Oklahoma is a major threat, even only putting up 17 points.
Tulane and Temple. Tulane at number 24, they defeated Temple 37-13. Going in, they're looking to move up and try and sneak into the college football playoff. The number 12 spot is kind of reserved for a team that wins the Conference USA or the American Conference. One of the conferences that aren't big, like the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC. What that 12 spot is kind of meant for one of those teams in the 20s. We got James Madison, North Texas, Missouri, Tulane, Houston. Missouri is going to be knocked out due to the loss to Oklahoma. If Vanderbilt were to get knocked down next week, let's say, because Vanderbilt takes on Tennessee next week, do you think Vanderbilt deserves to be in that 12 spot?
I would say so. I mean, I was looking at these scenarios, I think, for Vanderbilt, and I was also looking at these scenarios for Texas, to see, what needed to happen or what they needed to do to be able to get into the playoffs or whatever. A lot has to happen. I've seen the word, chaos scenario basically has to break loose for these teams to be able to make the playoffs, and Vanderbilt is one of them. Pretty much all hell has to break loose for some of those higher ranked teams. And to lose, and of course, it's very important for them to have to win out. Right now, I mean, they faced Kentucky, which, I mean, Kentucky is really no threat. So it's really not that impressive that they blew them out. But Diego Pavia, I mean, like I said, he's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks right now. Was just absolutely on fire. Five touchdowns, 484 yards, 33 of 39. That's nothing to sneeze at, I would say. So yeah, I would say just overall, the overall body of work of Vanderbilt, for me, I think would just be a heartbreaker for this team to not be able to make the playoffs, to not even given a chance, because again, I do think they are the wild card. They are the shakeup if they were to make that playoff because they're just so unpredictable, So, and it would definitely make things exciting going into the playoffs. So I definitely think they deserve a spot if it's possible. And, if this, chaos scenario does end up happening for them.
You look at the schedule for college football this year, as I have the college football playoff schedule flashing on the bottom of the screen, because that is the official college football playoff schedule on how things are going to occur. And I apologize in advance. One of my neighbors is doing some type of carpenter work in 25, 35 degree weather right now. And I don't know if it's coming through right now. You can hear it or not. It's kind of annoying because it's coming through my headsets. And yeah. But just the way things are shaping up, one team that I'm intrigued to see if they get an opportunity to get in is Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of been up and down all year. They're 8-3 right now, coming off the win against Florida yesterday. They're a team that I kind of want to keep an eye on to see if they might end up sneaking in. They have no chance of running for the SEC title, none whatsoever. But the way this committee works, and the way the committee picks teams, we're going to do something for, Selection Sunday. We're going to figure out something to do something for Selection Sunday when that time comes in the next couple weeks here on the Huddle Hub podcast. But one team I'm paying attention to right now is Tennessee, because of the possibilities that they could still get in without having to go in the SEC title is something that intrigues me. I've been very high on Tennessee the past couple years. I've always thought that they were a strong enough team to go out and possibly win the SEC, but they just end up falling short against teams that they could go out and beat. They can go out and beat an Alabama. They can go out and beat a Georgia, I believe, but they don't go and do it. So that's one team I'm going to keep an eye on. And Alabama, obviously, because of that defense. That defense at Alabama is just so intriguing. And even at 2 losses, Alabama is in a very strong position to get voted in. But any games that you paid attention to before we move on here with the rest of our day?
Not particularly. Again, like as you said before, a pretty quiet college football Saturday. Most of these matchups were, complete mismatches. Essentially, most of them were blowouts. A lot of the higher ranked teams went out there and took care of business as they were supposed to. Again, for me, as I already mentioned, the blowout win and victory for Vanderbilt against Kentucky, I think was one I kind of paid a little more attention to, just because, like I said, it's crunch time for these lower ranked teams that are currently not in the playoffs, and Vanderbilt being one of them, trying to make it. So it's very important for them to win out. So I would say, I'm just really focused on what Vanderbilt does these last couple games, and and see if they can make a run for the playoffs. So,
all right. One last thing, Cam, do you have one of those colleges in your area that, in your area? Do you have any colleges near your area, like where you're at, where you live?
I don't think so.
So where I live about 10, 15 minutes away from a college called Lehigh University here in Pennsylvania, in eastern Pennsylvania. And let me put it this way. The city of Bethlehem, when Lehigh wins games, the city is alive. Let me just put it this way. If you go to downtown Bethlehem on a Saturday night after a Lehigh win, it is insane. And how I know this is I used to be an Uber driver before COVID hit. I did some Uber driving, and I used to Uber drive down in Bethlehem on a Saturday night. Why? Because I knew I was going to make money because of the Lehigh game. I would always check the score. If Lehigh won, I know I'm making money. Okay? They won because they are a Division III football team. They won their league championship yesterday. They went 12-0, beat Lafayette. 37-27, I believe, was the final score, and they won their Patriot League. This is the second year in a row they did it. So congratulations to Lehigh University for winning the Patriot League championship. So had to shout that out there real quick. Cam, let's get into the news coming out of the NFL. A lot of news to cover. First off, as I said, Shedeur Sanders, he is going to get his first official NFL start today against the Las Vegas Raiders. He did come in last week when Dylan Gabriel went down and went into concussion protocol, but this is going to be his first official start. So congrats to Shedeur Sanders, and I hope this kid has a great game today. I really do. That Deshaun Watson thing bugs me. It does. I don't like it, and I hope it turns out good for the kid. I do. I'm very intrigued to see how Shedeur Sanders does today. It was announced that Michael Penix Jr., quarterback of the Falcons, he underwent some tests this week, injured his knee in last week's game, went out, got some tests, got some second opinions on his knee, and it was determined that he is going to be out for the rest of the season, that he has to undergo season-ending knee injury. Now, apparently, Cam, collecting his college career as well and his high school career, that this is the 5th time that Michael Penix Jr. has had a season-ending injury, and it is now flooded over to the NFL. If you were the Falcons and the Falcons organization and the front office, would you be worried right now?
Yeah, that's worrisome. I mean, that's what's plaguing Joe Burrow. And it's just taking up a lot of his young career, and you kind of have to question, how much longer can this continue? How, I mean, will the guy even be elite by the time his career is over with? So yeah, it's just a shame because he definitely has a lot of talent. I think he has a lot more to offer. Definitely seen leaps and bounds and big strides in that offense with him at quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. So it's very worrisome, I would say. But at the same time, it's like if I'm that organization, if I'm within that organization, I'm just kind of at a loss. I don't really know if we go into the draft next year and draft another quarterback just in case. Just have that back pocket quarterback just in case this happens again. I don't know. That's kind of the really big decision there that they have to, figure out if they're going to make or not.
If I was Atlanta, I wouldn't scramble to do that. You have a quarterback who you gave a 3-4 year contract to over hundreds of millions of dollars in Kirk Cousins. And because he had a bad back end of the year last year, threw a couple interceptions in a couple games. You took him out. You put Michael Penix in. Michael Penix came in, had some instant success, almost got the Falcons into the playoffs last year. But then he comes out this year, and this team completely kind of fell apart after the first couple weeks of doing some good stuff. Right now, they're not even in contention to win their division, which is crazy to think about, because you think when you look at the Falcons on TV, you're thinking, oh, this team's doing good. No, not at all. Not at all. What I would do is, instead of wasting a draft pick on a quarterback, try and build Kirk Cousins, momentum again, get him confident, get him back out there playing to the level we know Kirk Cousins can play at, put Michael Penix right back on the bench and have him learning more. That's what I would do. You spent your first draft pick, a top 10 draft pick last year on Michael Penix Jr. He should be your future. So what I would be doing is securing your future, taking a back step, because it's not too late, back step, and have him on the bench next year behind Kirk Cousins, help Kirk Cousins get his confidence back. We'll see what Kirk Cousins can do today. He's getting the start. But that's what I would do, opposed to going wasting another draft pick on a quarterback that could end up being in the same position Penix is in. So sun coming out. It's about to get really bright. Okay, cool. We don't have the sun today. It's cloudy. We're supposed to get rain. You mentioned Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has a full participant at practice this week. He is expected. Now, the expectation of him coming back was week 14. There's a chance we may see him next week. Joe Burrow trying to make a comeback, and what a time to come back, because the Bengals are still alive in the playoff race. They are holding on for dear life, and they want to try and make it. And they think that if they get Joe Burrow back in there, they may have a shot. Do you think that the Bengals have a shot if Joe Burrow gets in there?
No, it's too late. I mean, it's cool if he wants to come back. That's definitely the shot in the arm that they need. But I mean, they would have to go on one heck of a run just to be able to catch up with the rest of just their division and the rest of the AFC. That's some of the more dominant teams right now. So I mean, I'm just kind of just saying this because it's I mean, obvious, but I don't see them hanging with top tier teams like the Patriots right now that are again on a heck of a run atop of the AFC as a whole. So it's good that he's they're trying to salvage what's left of it, I guess. But like I said, they better make it a good one. Honestly, I mean, he can't afford yet another injury this season. Otherwise, it's undoubtedly over if it's not already. So, good for them. It's a shot in the arm that the team needs. They need to take advantage of this and play some of their best football and really try to clean things up before the end of the season. But I just don't. I think it's too late, and I don't really think it's going to make much of a difference.
I mean, when you look at the Bengals right now, they are sitting at 3-7. They're on the outside looking in. Realistically, they're 3 games back from the Steelers for the AFC North. And it's only week 12. 7 weeks left. The Bengals already had their bye week, so they don't have to worry about having that week off that can set them back. I mean, insert Joe Burrow in there. The Bengals go out and win this week. They're 4-7. They're in the mix. And if the Steelers and Ravens just so happen to lose their games, they're 2 games back. And Joe Burrow could be coming back at the right time. Jamar Chase, who got suspended, we'll talk about Jamar Chase in a minute, but got suspended this week. So spend the week to get Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow back on track. And next week, we could see the Bengals coming out, slinging touchdowns like crazy. Joe Burrow, sling touchdowns like crazy to Jamar Chase. And get this Bengals team on track. The Bengals are not so far off that we think they are. I mean, they could come in and possibly sneak into the division, being 3 games back with 7 weeks left. 6 weeks. 7 weeks, including today. So, I don't know. It might be. I mean, the expectations were week 14, but he could be back by week 13 next week, which is nuts. Tyler Higbee, tight end of the Rams, and Quentin Lake, defensive back of the Rams. They were placed on IR. They're going to miss at least 4 games. That's a tough hit for the Rams offense and defense, as these guys are starters. Aiden O'Connell, quarterback of the Raiders, he was activated to the 53-man roster. The Raiders not having their greatest season. A lot of people thought, including myself, thought the Raiders were going to have a spectacular season because of all the changes that they made in the front office and on the coaching staff and on the field. But the Raiders sit at 2-8 right now. They take on the Cleveland Browns today. But Aiden O'Connell was activated. Do you think that they're starting to kind of lose their belief in Geno Smith for the rest of the season, thinking maybe putting Aiden O'Connell in there at this point?
I mean, if they haven't lost confidence in Geno Smith, I don't know what they're doing. I'm surprised they've stuck with him this long. Once again, it is another scenario or a situation where I believe it's just too late. Even if they did lose confidence in Geno Smith, if they want to lose confidence in Geno Smith, they should have did it like 4 or 5 weeks ago, because it's just not working. I don't know why they've been so hell bent on trying Geno Smith. Clearly what the success, I guess, they tried to repeat in Seattle with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, the combination of that, it just has not worked out in Las Vegas. So they definitely need to change up at quarterback, I do believe. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
if that decision, I think, should have been made a long time ago.
I mean, fans are already calling for Pete Carroll to get fired. That's sad.
I mean, like you were another year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you were pulling for this guy to come in and help this team. You got Tom Brady, who's in the front office that knows what he's doing at the quarterback position. Like, this is a whole new front office. Let them get their footing. Like, you got to look at the timeline of how everything happened, and you got to remember, an NFL team is literally moving 365 days a year. Just because they're not playing doesn't mean they're not doing stuff. I mean, they're always moving and doing things to improve. So give this time. Yeah, give this time. Give them time to find their footing and get things together here.
You also
If
got to
I
remember too, though, this is they are fans of a organization or of a team that I think they're used to that cycle. This is what they're accustomed to. They have a losing season. They fire the coaching staff and
yeah.
restart the next season. They do it every year, so it's just what they're used to.
And you got to think of this too, that there are fans of the Raiders that are coming from Los Angeles, from the California area. There's fans that, are coming from the Oakland area that have stuck with the team since their Oakland days. And then you have the fans that are in Vegas that have not had a professional Vegas team since the first rendition of the XFL. So I would give this more time than you're giving it if you live in Vegas and you're a Vegas fan. Because if a team's not successful in a city, the city could say, look, we don't want to fund this team no more. They're bleeding money. We got to get them out of here. And they can end up moving. And then what do you do if they start moving more east or more north? What do? You going to follow them up north to Oregon? Or down south to I don't know, Texas? Be another Arizona team? Are you going to do that? Because you got to think the Raiders next to the Rams have made the furthest travel move as a team than any other team. Do you really want your team moving further out and keeping you from going to games? I wouldn't.
No.
Neither would I. That's why fans don't think sometimes, dude. They don't think that this stuff can happen, and it could. If a city's not happy with a team, that city can make the decision to boot them out. They could. And fans don't think of that.
Yeah.
They think, if we make a change, a head coach or a quarterback, the city can say, you're not winning, you're bleeding money, get the fuck out of here. They could say that. Bottom line. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver of the Cardinals, Amari DeMarcado, the running back of the Cardinals, will not play on Sunday. They're going to be out this week, but Trey Benson, running back, the starting running back for the Cardinals, he's on his 21-day practice opening. So Trey Benson is trying to make a comeback before the end of the season. I don't know how much it's going to help trying to get your starting running back at this point, as the Cardinals are sitting at 3-7. They're at the bottom of the NFC West right now. They had a hot start when they had all their starters in. Then guys started going down and things started falling apart out in Arizona. Arizona is always that team that gives you a little bit of, we're going to do it type of feeling, and then they quickly just fall apart come the back end of the season. So if I was Trey Benson, I don't know, I would probably take my time on coming back and maybe think about next year. More Bengals news. Tight end Mike Gesicki, he's on his 21 practice day window, so he's trying to make a comeback as well. So another weapon for Joe Burrow when he comes back, their tight end.
Yeah.
It's a good addition. Again, the Bengals, 3 games out, not far back. What's up, Virgo? Thank you for joining us here on a Sunday on the Huddle Hub podcast. Appreciate you stopping in. We got a new one I can add to the book. Mashed potatoes and gravy. I don't think that one's in there yet. I'll have to check. But I'll write that down as a note, so I can put that in the book. It's going to be in the running. Mashed potatoes plus gravy. 11:23. I'll write it down. Huddle. Okay. That's the nice thing about posties. I can just pull them out and write something down real quick. New Orleans Saints, they're expected to play a game in Paris, a season game in Paris in 2026. So the Saints are planning to play a season game in Paris in 2026. So we already have one team that is determined to be a part of the international game series next year, and that's going to be the New Orleans Saints. They're going to play in Paris next year. Who they're going to play is yet to be known. But they are the first team to be picked for the international series next year. So good on the Saints getting one of the international games. Call us baseball or football. Baseball or football. That's a good one. I think I like that one a little more. I don't know. I'll write both of them down. I'll put both of them down. Is this a new mic? No, this is my same mic that I've had for close to a year now. I've had this mic for a while now, a couple of months.
It looks different for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the way it is, because I usually have it up more like straight like this. Now it's sitting kind of like this. So
Probably.
that's probably what it is. Yeah, this is my same microphone I've had for a while now. Well, have a great day at work, Virgo. Be safe getting there. Just because you're running late doesn't mean you have to rush. So be safe. The New Orleans Saints, they have released wide receiver Brandon Cooks. The Saints were deciding to make this move a couple weeks ago. They actually were looking to trade him at the trade deadline. Couldn't find any buyers, and they have made the decision to release Brandon Cooks. So he is no longer a New Orleans Saint. Now, Cam, I want to ask you this. With the state that the Saints are in at the moment, do you think this was the best move to let go of a key wide receiver in Brandon Cooks?
Yes and no. Yes, because, I mean, they're going to initially hit the reset button, I think, after this season anyways.
Yeah.
No, because you need all the help you can get this season. I mean, you're not making your playoff hopes are pretty much dead in the water. But, I mean, why not try to salvage something and end it on a high note and win as many games as you possibly can? So it's just not a good move to just be, getting rid of people that you could use now. And because, like I said, we still have 7 weeks if you include this week, 6 if you just think about what's left.
Yeah.
Like I said, to try to win some games. So I wouldn't be looking to get rid of anybody.
I mean, where they're sitting right now, they're 2-8. They're still technically in the playoff contention hunt, and they are only 4 games back from Tampa. Now, Tampa, they're going to start getting some guys back from injury, which is going to make them better. But let's just say Tampa trips on their feet. Atlanta's not playing good. Carolina's kind of, creeping in there to take over the division, slowly but surely. New Orleans goes on a winning streak, and Tampa falls on their face, and Atlanta continues doing what they're doing. We can end up saying the New Orleans Saints are in the playoffs this year. I mean, they're still in contention. They're technically, by the league standards of playoff contention stuff, they're still in playoff contention. So, I mean, they did trade away Rashid Shaheed at the deadline, which I think was a bad move on their part. Because Rashid Shaheed was one of their top wide receivers. So when they traded away Rashid Shaheed back at the deadline 2 weeks ago, my thought was they're already hitting that reset button. Tyler Shook took over at quarterback. They lost all belief in Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's even going to be a Saint next year. I think that's Tyler Shook's team. If you look at Tyler Shook's statistics, he has an 84.7 quarterback rating right now, which is not bad for the time that he's come in. He has 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Again, not bad for a quarterback who just came in and took over a team that is on life support. So, it's good to test out the guy that you drafted that you want to use moving forward and be the leader of your team. But it can also be bad because if he goes out there and gets injured, you have a setback. I mean, look at the Vikings with JJ McCarthy. I get it. You wanted to start JJ McCarthy. You wanted to get him in there and get him playing, but he got injured and was out for the first half of the season. And now look at the Vikings. The Vikings, who were favored to be in the running for the NFC North, which they still kind of are at 4-6. But the Bears are starting to take over that North because they keep winning games. And I don't expect that. I mean, the Bears, who take on a tough Steelers team today, that's going to be a great game. The Bears go out and beat the Steelers today. They're 8-3. They pretty much locked themselves in the NFC North. So, Sam Laporta, tight end of the Lions, he had a back procedure done this week. He is likely to miss the remainder of the season. So, Sam Laporta for the Lions is pretty much out for the rest of the year. Travis Kelce, tight end of the Chiefs, he did an interview this week, and he said that he will make his decision on whether he will return to the Chiefs or not come March. So, Cam, we talked about Travis Kelce a little bit throughout the year, whether this is going to be his last year or not. All signs are kind of indicating that this year is going to be it. You see his facial expressions on the sideline. He's unhappy about certain things. And I said it, that if I was Travis Kelce, I wouldn't retire come March. I'm a free agent. I would test the market and see who I can go to for a year and try and play for another team. Your legacy in Kansas City will not be tarnished. You already have the legacy that's fully locked in. So let's say he went somewhere like Tennessee or Cleveland, back home in Cleveland, or Cincinnati. His legacy is not going to tarnish. He's just trying the free agency market because why? He spent his whole career out in Kansas City, and he just wants to have some fun. If I was him, I would have some fun and go somewhere for a year. Test the free agent market, have some fun, play somewhere for a year, and then at the end of the 2026 season, call it a day. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Kelce.
I would say go. I would just say go while you're still at least somewhat playing at a high level. I wouldn't say push it further than you need to. Of course, definitely listen to your body and just I don't know, just the energy I guess you have left to put forth into this game. And just don't make it feel like it's like a must. You have to test the market because you're a free agent. If he feels like it's time, I think then it should be time. It feels like it's time. You just said it, just with his facial expression, his body language, and even with his play even earlier in the season. I mean, he's starting to clean things up, but even early in the season, it just doesn't seem like he's really in the game as he once was. It just seems like he's just kind of elsewhere. So maybe it is time for him to just move on. But he's in good hands. I mean, he still has the podcast with his brother, so it's not like he's just going to disappear and fall off the earth and have nothing to really fall back on. Not everybody can retire and just become this ESPN suit and tie, sportscaster. Like that's not in the books for everybody. So people have to also go outside of the NFL and kind of carve their own path afterwards. So, but no, he has definitely something to fall back on. So he's in good hands there. So I would say if I was him, I would honestly just retire. I mean, you have your legacy, and you did what you could. You're definitely Hall of Fame ballot for sure. So I don't see what else there is really to do. I can't even picture him with another team if you ask me. So that would be kind of hard to imagine.
I can picture him in Cleveland just because he's from the area. He's from like the Cincinnati, Cleveland area. I can picture him out in Cleveland with the Browns for a year. I could. I've talked to somebody. I go to it's not hidden that I vape. I go to a vape shop every week and I talk to a guy there. We talk football every time I go in, and he's a Cleveland fan. And he asked me, he said, "Can you see Travis Kelce in a Cleveland uniform?" I said, "Yeah, I kind of can. I can see it. He's from the area. He grew up a Cleveland fan. So why not go play for a team that you grew up liking?" Some players like to do that before they call it a day. It's their only opportunity to do it. Why not? So we'll just see what he does. Running down the injuries real quick. Jackson Dart, quarterback of the Giants, he's going to be he's still in concussion protocol. Jameis Winston's going to get the start. Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker of the Bears, he has a growing injury. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Eddie Pinheiro, the kicker of the 49ers, he is going to be out Monday night against the Panthers. Josh Jacobs, he is going to be a game-time decision today for the Packers with his knee injury. He suffered a knee injury in last week's game. They said that everything's kind of okay, but they want to watch it. So they're going to do some workout stuff during pregame, and they're going to make a decision come game time whether he's going to play or not. The Steelers, they have elevated defensive tackle Cam Hayward and defensive back Darius Slay from the injured list, so they're expected to play in the game against the Bears today. Devontae Smith, wide receiver of the Eagles, he traveled separately of the team to Dallas it says for personal reasons, and he is going to be a game time decision. So Devontae Smith may not even play today for Philadelphia against Dallas, which is deemed the American Game of the Week on Fox. And then in other news, Josh Allen, quarterback of the Bills, his number 17 jersey got retired out at Wyoming yesterday. So congratulations to Josh Allen. And two more bits of news. Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver of the 49ers. The 49ers have decided to void out his $26.15 million guarantee. And there's a possibility that Brandon Ayuk, after 2025, will be looking for a new home. The 49ers are not happy to the fact that they paid Brandon Ayuk all this money, and he has not even had a hint of touching the field this year, continuously dealing with his injury. Do you blame the 49ers at this point? I mean, Ayuk just has had so much trouble staying on the field since coming to San Francisco, to the point where this team is kind of like, we need to move on from him. So do you really blame them for making this decision?
Not at all. Honestly, it's probably something that some other teams can probably learn from. Just that mindset, like, you're just wasting money. You said it earlier. You're wasting money. You're expending money on certain players, and you expect them to be on the field and perform and things like that. You don't pay them to be on IR or ride the bench. So it's just really no point. So I don't really blame them. But hey, that's just an opportunity for any other team, whether it be AFC or NFC teams, to really pick up, I would say, a good player. He just has to get his injuries resolved, get healthy, and get back on the field and see what he can do for some other teams. But I really don't blame the 49ers for moving on. That's just another opportunity for them to replace him and get somebody else who is going to be more active and get more play time for them.
I mean, the 49ers right now, the position they're in, going for the division, they're in a playoff position right now, and they've been running with backups all week. I mean, Brock Purdy came out last week, had a great game, great comeback, and they're starting to get their guys back on the field, but Brandon Ayuk just seems to be the one that they're having trouble getting back on the field. So we'll have to see what the 49ers do if they decide to move on from him, if they decide to trade him or just straight up release him and lose out on some of their money. That decision will probably come in March when free agency starts. So Jalen Ramsey, defensive back of the Steelers. Now, Cam, I talked about this on Tuesday, that Jamar Chase got fined over $500,000 and is suspended for today's game because he spit on Jalen Ramsey last week. Now, if you watched the Steelers-Bengals game last week, Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase were at it all game. I mean, this was they were at it. Jalen Ramsey put on some big hits on Jamar Chase last week. It was later known on Monday afternoon that the NFL went back, watched some film, seen that Jamar Chase spit on Jalen Ramsey, and which started the dispute. And Jalen Ramsey decided to react to it. And let's just put it this way. Jalen Ramsey was fined $14,491 for retaliating and punching Jamar Chase in last week's game. Now, I said it on Tuesday's show that I feel like Jalen Ramsey needs to be fined at least. I don't see him being suspended. I get it. You were spit on. You don't want to be spit on during a game. I get it. You're in a jaw jack and everything like that. But to be spit on is a little disrespectful. I don't care who it is. You don't just spit on somebody just because you're having, a dispute with them. And Jalen Ramsey is facing a fine. And I said it. I think he should at least be fined for retaliating because he could have just walked away. Could have just walked away from it. Let Jamar Chase do what he needed to do. He's the one that's going to face the consequences, and that's that. And now he is. But now Jalen Ramsey is facing the consequences as well for retaliating. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, for number one, I would say it's definitely a little more than just a little disrespectful. It's the ultimate sign of disrespect to spit on someone. And I don't know why it's starting to spawn this trend in football. I saw it. I saw it in college football too, as well. A player had spit on somebody.
Yesterday's game, yeah.
Why is this a trend now? What is with this? This is, first of all, it's absolutely disgusting, and second, it's I don't understand. I'd rather you just fight. I'd rather you just throw hands. I mean, that I don't really care about as much. I mean, it's to be expected. It's football. Of course, there's a lot of trash talking, especially between wide receiver and cornerback. Obviously, I think that always happens. That's always a good. Especially when you have two good teams and two good, a good offense and a good defense, and they're just very combative, very competitive. But again, this spitting thing, come on, first of all, that this needs to be stopped.
Yeah,
between college and NFL level, it's just it's just weird. It's gross, and I just don't understand it. Secondly, me personally, I don't know how you feel about this. I think I've lost a little bit of respect for just Jamar Chase. I mean, he's one of the superstars, one of the big highlighted players of the NFL, and it's
he's
just
a role model.
Exactly, and it's like for him to do that, I don't expect. I expect that from maybe a rookie that doesn't understand the ins and outs of the NFL, who just got there, who's still cocky, brash. But you've been there a while. Like, you're a captain, you're a veteran. Like, that's not what we expect from someone who has been there a while and knows the rules and regulations and knows, like I said, knows the ins and outs of the NFL. So, and for Ramsey to retaliate, for him to react the way he did, I don't really blame him. I really don't. Tomlin had said it too. He's like, hey, I'm not really gonna drag this out. Hey, you do what comes natural. You react how you react. We're all human beings. We react naturally to certain things, and of course, blatant signs of disrespect. So, in terms, I honestly have to give the NFL kudos just for the investigation.
They went back and watched the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, they go back and watch the whole game and to really dissect, what actually happened.
Yeah.
Kudos to them for that, because I don't know any other instances really when they really investigated or dissected something like that deep. So I like that as well. And of course I like the consistency as well. Where, like I said, we had an instance earlier this year with the whole Eagles and Cowboys spitting thing. So if one thing happens, because I think I spoke on this before earlier in the season, if one thing happens where a player's getting fined or suspended or whatever, or ejected from a game, you can't have it happen to one team player and then nothing happens for the other player who did the exact same thing or something similar, or even worse. Then that's just the inconsistency, I think, has been a really big issue for the NFL and sports, especially when it comes to penalizing some players for doing something that they're not supposed to. So again, that's just I like to see the consistency. I like to see it being even across the board when it comes to the NFL or whatever. So in general, let's just please stop with the spitting thing. It's once is enough. 2, 3. This has been like the third or fourth time now this year. It seems like that this has been a thing. It's just weird. I don't quite understand what spawned this, but hey, it is what it is.
I mean, if you go on X, there's a bunch of pages that are dedicated to street fights, basically, like kids in high school fighting in the bathroom or middle school fighting in the bathroom. Street fights, like kids getting out of school and fighting, adults, grown ass adults fighting, and they end up spitting on each other. Like, I get it if you're gonna have an out of nowhere dispute with somebody, but spitting on each other, come on now. We just got out of one of the worst times in the modern era in COVID, where people literally lost their lives because if you ended up trading saliva, you end up getting each other sick. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, get your shit together, people. Seriously. We do have some breaking news, but the last bit of news that I do want to cover, UAB, they were getting ready to play their game against South Florida yesterday, and a player decided to go into the locker room and stab 2 of his teammates. The 2 teammates are in stable condition. They're good to go. They're fine. They're in stable condition in the hospital. The player that did the stabbing was instantly arrested and is being charged for attempted murder. So, some crazy news. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy news. We do have some breaking news, though. It has just been it has just been brought to my attention that Josh Jacobs, the running back of the Green Bay Packers, has been ruled out for today's game, and quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, has been ruled out today. So he has a broken wrist. He wanted to try and go, and he's not gonna. So those are the two players that were ruled out of their games today. So, Cam, before we get running down week 12 of the NFL, we got some records and milestones that could be broken and met this week. Some fun ones. These ones are fun. I had a lot of fun getting these notes together yesterday and reading some of these. And I'm kind of pulling for pretty much every player on this list to meet their expectations, to break milestones records. First one. And you're probably thinking, Mike, why would you be pulling for this one? Well, because I think it would be cool, because I think this quarterback has done some good things for this team. It's just been what's been around him that's been kind of holding him back. And that is Dak Prescott out in Dallas. He is 160 passing yards away from becoming the all-time pass leader in franchise history. Tony Romo currently holds that record at 34,024 yards. Dak Prescott is 160 passing yards away from breaking Tony Romo's all-time passing record for the Dallas Cowboys. So I want to see Dak Prescott do it. I just don't want to see him passing touchdowns. That's it. Eagles defense just needs to step up, stop the touchdowns from happening, but just a little dump off passes here and there. George Pickens and that. They can do it. That's fine, but no touchdowns. Don't give him up. Just let him get his 160 and call it a day. Let him become the all-time pass leader. I mean, regardless, Dak Prescott is going to break this record. We have enough weeks for him to pass for over 160 yards. So he's going to do it, but he has an opportunity to do it today. So Jonathan Taylor, running back of the Colts. He needs 2 more rushing touchdowns to become the fourth all-time in rushing touchdowns before the age of 27. He will end up passing Todd Gurley, who is currently in 4th with 67. So if Jonathan Taylor runs for 2 more, he'll have 68 and surpass Todd Gurley with 4th all-time in touchdowns before the age of 27. So Jonathan Taylor, 2 more touchdowns today, maybe. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback of the Chiefs. He has 23 or more passing yards. With 23 or more passing yards, he will become the fastest player to reach 35,000 passing yards, doing it in 122 games. Now, Matthew Stafford currently holds the record at 126 games. So Patrick Mahomes, let's say for the next 2-3 weeks, does not pass for 23 yards, which I don't think it's going to happen today. But let's just say the defenses were good enough to hold him from passing for over 20 yards the next couple games. He could surpass. He would end up tying Matthew Stafford, but 23 passing yards away from surpassing Matthew Stafford and becoming the fastest player to 35,000 passing yards at 122 games. Trey McBride, tight end of the Cardinals. If he catches a touchdown this week, he will have caught a touchdown in 6 straight games. Now, it's very rare for a tight end to catch a touchdown in consecutive games. Very, very rare. Well, Trey McBride has caught a touchdown in the last 5. Now, today, if he does it, it will be 6 straight games, and the only 2 tight ends to catch a touchdown in 6 consecutive games is Mark Andrews. He did it back in 2024, tight end of the Ravens, and Rob Gronkowski back in 2018. So Trey McBride can end up being part of that if he catches a touchdown today. And also, if he catches 5 passes, he will join Travis Kelce, who did this back in 2018, and Tony Gonzalez, who did this in 2008 and 2009, to catch 5 passes in 12 consecutive games. So if Trey McBride catches 5 passes, he would have done it in 12 consecutive games, and he would join Travis Kelce, who did it in 2018, and Tony Gonzalez, who did it in 2008 and 2009. So some cool milestones for Trey McBride to go after today. Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the Rams. If he throws 3 touchdowns and no more than 2 interceptions this week, he will become the 4th player to ever have thrown 30 touchdowns and fewer than 5 interceptions in the first 11 games of a season. So Matthew Stafford, for as long as he's been in the league, still breaking records. And I think Matthew Stafford can do it because he's been on a roll lately. I mean, he's been on a sick roll lately. Last but not least, Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Buccaneers. If he has 2 or more touchdowns and no interceptions, he could end up breaking his tie with Tom Brady with a multi-touchdown and no interception game consecutively in Bucs history. It wasn't determined how many consecutive games it's been to where he has thrown 2 or more touchdowns and no interceptions in the game, but he's on pace to breaking Tom Brady's Tampa Bay record of doing so. But that's all the milestones and records for this week. Cam, we're going to take a 30 to 45 second break here on the Huddle Podcast. We're going to come back and we are going to run down week 12 of the NFL for you right after this. All right, so make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Podcast social medias after the show and hitting that follow button over on the X and the TikTok. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button over on the YouTube. That's how you follow on YouTube, and make sure you're following over on the Huddle Podcast on Twitch. All the links to all of our social medias are in the Twitch bio, so all you have to do is go into the bio and click on the social media that you desire. Hopefully it's all of them, and help us build the Huddle Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. So, Cam, it's week 12 of the NFL. I'm going to say that one more time. It's week 12 of the NFL. It's so crazy how fast this season is going. We are in the depths of the playoff race. Now, the Giants, if they lose today, okay, if they lose and the Packers win, or I think it's the Packers, if the Seahawks win or tie, or if forget what their scenario is, because the Giants have a playoff scenario today. Giants playoff scenario. Here we go. This is what I needed. So if the Giants end up losing and the Packers end up winning, or if the Buccaneers end up winning, or if the Seahawks end up winning or tying, the Giants are officially eliminated from playoff contention. So the Giants' playoff lives are on the line today. And they have it in the hands of Jameis Winston.
Oh, God.
It is in the hands of Jameis Winston to keep the Giants alive, and they are playing Detroit today. I think the Giants are out.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Let's get into it. Week 12. We kick things off on Thursday night. The Bills and the Texans out in Houston. What a game Thursday night, man. That Texans defense was brutal. Brutal. Josh Allen had probably the worst game of his life on Thursday night.
Yes.
All in trying to stay afloat in that game, keeping the Bills alive, but that Texans defense was just all over him. They sacked him, I believe they got him 7 times, which was insane. I never seen Josh Allen play a game like that ever. And the Texans end up winning 23-19 on Thursday night. We had no games this morning, no international games. I believe the international series is over. They're done with that. That usually runs the back end of September through the month of October and the first week of November, first 2 weeks of November, and then we get into the third week, and that's it. International games are done. We are now just strictly home or away. But let's kick it off. 1 o'clock set of games. The Indianapolis Colts, they head out to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs right now are fighting for their playoff lives for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era. What do you got on the Colts and the Chiefs?
I still say it's kind of tough for the Colts because, they are going into enemy territory. They probably would be more in cruise control had this been in Indy. So it's still a tough environment, even with the Chiefs struggling this year. So going into Arrowhead, I believe they said it's still one of the loudest stadiums, I think, in the NFL right now. So like I said, definitely a rowdy environment for the Colts, and I would say the pressure is on just to win in that stadium. Can they get it done? Realistically, yes. I don't like calling any win, I guess, even if it's a bad team or a good team, an easy win. But if there were ever a time to beat the Chiefs, it's now, because they are hurting. They have been hurting realistically this entire season. They just don't look like the Chiefs. They look like they just look more average, or as if they're masquerading as the former Chiefs. They just are a shell of their former selves. A lot of people are saying that, this is the beginning of the downfall for their dynasty. The dynasty's over. I don't know. I can't call it. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't foresee the future, but this is looking like that. They're 5-5 for the first time that I've seen Patrick Mahomes at the helm, and they are on a 2-game losing streak. So, and they are facing arguably one of, if not the best offensive teams right now in the Indianapolis Colts. So if there was ever a time to play a perfect game and get Daniel Jones, because he's kind of struggled here a little bit here and there. If there was ever a time to get Daniel Jones back to looking like the juggernaut that he looked like the first couple of games that the Colts have played, this would be the game to do it, honestly, to make a statement against the Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to give it to the Colts. I just don't see the Colts dropping this game. They obviously realize the importance. And again, the environment, the rowdy environment that they are going into.
Yeah, I've been saying it since the offseason that I feel like the Chiefs are not making the playoffs. I think they'll go. My prediction was either 9-8 or 8-9. Yes, you could still make the playoffs at 9-8, depending on how things are going. But the way you look at it, the Chiefs need to win their division to get in. The Jaguars right now control their own destiny. Jaguars and Chiefs end up with the same record, and it comes down to them two for the 7th seed. The Jaguars get it. Why? Because they have that head-to-head from that Monday nighter. The Texans are kind of on the rise right now. The Texans are starting to play like the Texans we've known the past couple of years without CJ Stroud. Davis Mills, I'm going to say that one more time. Davis Mills is winning ball games for Houston. Now the question out in Houston should be, do we keep riding with Davis Mills, or do we let CJ come back in? Because CJ's cleared. He just didn't play Thursday night because they want to be on the precaution area with him. But you got a hot hand in Davis Mills right now. I think I would continue rolling with that at that point. He's winning ball games for you. He's keeping you alive in the playoff race. Why would you change it? He's got a connection with your receivers. He's got a connection with the guys in the backfield, the offensive line, everything. Why would you change that if he's got the hot hand right now sitting at 6-5? And the Chiefs win today. Yeah, cool. They're 6-5, but they're still in 9th place. And you look at the other teams who are behind them, the Ravens, who are in 10th right now. If they win today, they can end up bleeping them. The Chiefs can fall down to 10th place today, even in a win. There's a possibility.
It's wild.
So, yeah. Yeah. So, it's crazy. The Seattle Seahawks, oh my gosh. The Seattle Seahawks head out to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Titans, I think their season is pretty much over. They're 1-9, can't win a game to save anything. What do you got on the Seahawks and Titans today?
It should be a landslide for the Seahawks. Honestly, they should have no problems with the Titans. But stranger things have happened. This has been a very odd season where we have seen good teams come out some weeks and just play like they've forgotten how to play football, or they're just unprepared or tired, or I don't know what. It's been a very odd season. So possibility, sure. Realistic, no, because again, the Seahawks are playing some of their best football. Sam Darnold is going out there again, has slipped up here and there, but I definitely expect him to get back into form. I mean, he did the same thing with the Vikings. I mean, he had that game where he just absolutely collapsed in that one game, and then the next game he got right back into the way he has been playing. So I guess it's kind of in his nature, I guess, to just have one of those odd off games. But he hasn't had a lot of them, since the Minnesota days. So I'm definitely expecting them to have a easy win here against the Titans. I hate saying that, but I just don't see the Titans having any kind of leverage or advantage over the Seattle Seahawks right now.
I mean, I said that the Giants had that playoff scenario against them. The Titans, I believe, with a loss today, since the Texans won, I believe the Titans will be eliminated from playoff contention as well. I'm not fully sure on that. I would have to double check that statistic, but I believe that the Titans were to lose today, they'd be done. So it's not only the Giants, I believe the Titans are in that realm as well. I mean, I feel bad for Cam Ward. Cam Ward has been trying to motivate this team all year, and he, anything he says or anything he does cannot be strong enough to do that. He's a rookie quarterback. It's almost like he has no pull in this organization of any words that come out of his mouth. It's almost like the veterans are saying, you know what, fuck you, rookie. Like, we don't care what you have to say. We're just going to go out, earn our paycheck, and go home. If that's the mentality out in Tennessee, then Tennessee was right for saying our whole roster's on the deal table right now. You want them? Give us something. 5th-round draft pick for a guy that was a 1st-round draft pick, take him. We're starting over. And I think that should have been the mentality of Tennessee's, thought process at the beginning of this year, during the offseason, during free agency, when they could have spent the money, when they could have traded guys, used draft picks better than what they did. Because after Cam Ward, their draft wasn't that great. It was not that great. So, Tennessee, man, reset button, hit. We got the Minnesota Vikings heading out to Green Bay to take on the Packers today. The Vikings are only 3 games out from the lead in the NFC North. Cam, your thoughts on the Vikings and Packers, and do you think it's too late for Minnesota?
Again, anything's possible, I guess, for Minnesota. JJ McCarthy, again, this still being his first semi-full year. Again, he's dealt with some other injuries this year as well as he did his first actual year in the NFL. Really hasn't been playing his best football. I think they are clawing and scratching to stay alive. So again, anything is possible, but right now this team is just kind of all over the place. And just terms of just as a whole, as an organization, I think the Packers are kind of in the same boat. They're a hard team to figure out. They look good one week and then they play horrible the next. So and of course they're dealing with injuries of their own as well. So that also plays a factor. But I got to give the edge to the Packers here in this game. I definitely think they clean things up and get back on track. And realistically, shouldn't have any problems taking out the Minnesota Vikings today in this game.
I mean, Josh Jacobs just being deemed out of this game. Backup running back's going to come in and take over. I said this during the offseason when before the season started. I said to John that I think the Packers need to start looking at their backup running backs at a more important level than what they do. Yes, you have Josh Jacobs, who can be a hot hand, but don't put the whole workload on him. Philadelphia went out and got Tank Bigsby in a trade deal to try and take some of the weight off of Saquon Barkley. They also went out and signed A.J. Dillon during the offseason to try and take the weight off of Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon Barkley, he hasn't gotten as many carries as he did last year, so you can't even sit there and say that these guys are taking the weight off of Saquon because Saquon's not getting the ball as much as he used to. But that was the purpose for Philadelphia bringing these guys in. Green Bay went out and got these backup running backs who can help do that for Josh Jacobs, and they have yet to make that decision. I think today with Josh Jacobs being out, Green Bay is going to finally see that their backup running backs may be able to go in and take the weight off of Josh Jacobs moving forward, heading into this playoff race. So We'll have to see what the Packers do today with a backup running back at the helm. So the New York Jets head out to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens, they're on a little bit of a win streak, trying to climb the AFC North, trying to take over that division. They are currently in 10th place in the playoff race. What do you got on the Jets and Ravens?
Yeah, this should be the game for the Ravens to take, I believe. The Jets have an 11% win probability. That's all I really need to say about that. It's not looking good for them. They went on a little bit of a run there. I think they had like a 2-game winning streak before losing to the Patriots. So I mean, good for them. I mean, those 2 wins honestly were the 2 wins that kept them away from 0-9, 0-10. So and no team wants to be winless. So those were pretty much their in-season or regular season Super Bowls, if you ask me. I mean, that just being able to sort of keep your head above water and not be winless is a good thing, I guess, for these organizations that are just bottom of the barrel right now. But the Ravens probably should be commended just for their overall effort. This has been a very rough season for them. The injuries to Lamar Jackson and just overall the offense and defense, for that matter, has not looked like what it was supposed to. A lot of people were shocked by just how they started out and their record and how they started out this season. So they're definitely getting things together. So I think they should pick up a win here today, be 5-5, and just be closer to catching up to the Steelers.
I mean, the Ravens, they go on that. They're on this win streak right now, trying to stay afloat in the AFC North. A lot of people are thinking that the Ravens are going to go and take over. The Ravens have any chance of doing it, it is today with Aaron Rodgers being out in Pittsburgh. They can move from that 10 spot all the way up to where Pittsburgh sits right now, which is crazy. So, I mean, if I was Pittsburgh, I understand that Rodgers is out today. I really hope they got Mason Rudolph prepared for this game today against Chicago, because Chicago is playing tough. Chicago is playing the football that a lot of people expected them to be playing, and they're 7-3. So we'll have to see what happens out in Baltimore today with the Jets and the Ravens. The New York Giants, they are on the verge of being eliminated from playoff contention. If they lose today and the Packers win, they're eliminated. If they lose today and the Lions, I believe, win, they're eliminated. And if they lose today and the Seahawks, or no, it's the Bucs. The New York Giants are on the verge of being eliminated from playoff contention. If the Giants lose today and the Packers win, they're eliminated. If the Giants lose and the Buccaneers win, they're eliminated. And if they lose today and the Seahawks win or tie, they're eliminated. They take on the Detroit Lions today. Cam, what do you got on the Giants and Lions?
It's not looking good for any of those scenarios. So really, it doesn't even matter if they win, because any of those other scenarios could happen and they still be eliminated. So in other words, they do not control their destiny at all. Yeah, they're up against a mountain, I would say. The Lions definitely have struggled on offense since Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling from his defensive coordinator, which I think was a mistake, because I think they have struggled more with Dan Campbell taking over, just play calling. So I don't know how well or how smart of a move that was by Dan Campbell. But we'll definitely have to see how that plays out today. I mean, you're facing a Giants defense that is really no threat right now to anyone in the NFC, especially in their own division for that matter. So again, be on the lookout for another Jahmyr Gibbs probably field day. I mean, he probably is going to run all over the field on this Giants defense. So I really don't see the Lions having any problems with this win today over the Giants.
The Lions last week against Philadelphia went 0 for 5 on 4th down attempts, which was bad. You sit there thinking if I was Dan Campbell and I was 0 for 2, I would have been like, all right, we're punting. Like there's no reason for us to go for it. We're still in this ball game. We could possibly win this thing, and they blew it. They blew it. You know, Dan Campbell stepped on his own toes for his own team and blew that game for them. A lot of people want to blame the referees for no calls and all this stuff. In every game, there's no calls. Dan Campbell blew that game for Detroit. And that's that. I mean, Detroit had that game in the bag. They won that game, basically. And they blew it. So it is currently snow flurrying right now. It's snowing here. Why?
Whoa.
Like it's 38 degrees right now and it's snowing. Like it's cold. It's cold enough. It's the clouds that are doing it. And the cold, because it is snowing right now. Okay. Whatever. We had snow earlier this week as well. Not a lot. There's a little bit flurrying here and there, but it's just that indication of like it's winter. It's winter. It's wintertime now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they are without Aaron Rodgers today, who broke his wrist in last week's ball game. They're heading out to Chicago to take on the Bears. Cam, what do you got on the Steelers and Bears?
So, I mean, Steelers, they definitely catch a break with Aaron Rodgers' injury because it doesn't need surgery. It is only a slight fracture. So that's good news for them in terms of Aaron Rodgers. Now starting Mason Rudolph, there was even some talk about, the potential, or I guess some people rallying behind Will Howard and them starting Will Howard, which I didn't realistically see happening, but I guess it was a slight possibility. But going with Mason Rudolph is probably the better option in terms of, I guess readiness for Will Howard. I don't think he's ready as a whole. I don't know how many reps he's really gotten, or the mentorship is not really complete with him and Aaron Rodgers. So I have confidence. I really have a lot of confidence. I would say I feel more comfortable, to be completely honest with you, having Mason Rudolph in there, and instead of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's got a little bit more mobility. Rodgers just doesn't have the mobility at all to be able to move around when throwing or making plays, which always worried me at every snap he took. So, him getting injured is really not much of a surprise because I just kind of expected it. I mean, he's an old quarterback. It's just kind of to be expected. He's getting thrown around a lot. So I would just say, if the O-line holds up, I think Mason Rudolph should be fine. They're up against a really good Bears team, though. That is the thing, and they are at home. So again, they're going into to rowdy territory as well as the Colts in Kansas City. So we definitely have to see how what happens there. I would say the biggest thing here is for the defense. Defense has to put pressure on Caleb Williams as much as possible, as many times as they possibly can. He is probably one of the better, or maybe even, dare I say, the best elusive quarterbacks in terms of just getting out of sacks. I mean, the dude he's just slippery. You just can't tackle the dude. It's amazing. So he's definitely great at that and making plays and keeping possessions and keeping drives alive. So they definitely have to just stop that dead in his tracks, especially in the fourth quarter, because they are like the fourth quarter comeback kings. They can look dead in the water, and if they just let up off the gas even a little bit, the Bears take advantage of that and keep playing and come back and win games. So there's a lot that the Steelers have to deal with in this game. Is it possible they can pull this out? I think so, but I really think it's more dependent on the defense. I'm not really worried about the offense at all. I think the offense can make some things happen and adjust. So I'm not really worried about the offense. The defense is the key, I think, to winning this game today.
The red-hot New England Patriots head out to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are trying to get Joe Burrow back to get themselves into a playoff race. Could it happen? Will it be soon enough? Or could I fucked up on that. I really want to put the Patriots out there today, Cam. I do, because we have not highlighted them at all this year, and they're doing great. So I'm going to recorrect myself here. The New England Patriots, they head out to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals today. The Bengals are trying to get Joe Burrow back in time to be a part of the playoff race. The Patriots, they're well and alive in the playoff race. They are red hot right now. What do you got on the Patriots and Bengals?
Well, I'm hoping for a good game, number one. But I don't know if you remember, but beginning of the season or before the beginning of the start of the season, Joe Burrow was my pick for MVP. I thought he was going to have a stellar season. And then, he got hit with the injury. So, and that really halted things. So can the Bengals pick back up and really pull themselves up and make the playoffs? It's possible. It's definitely still possible. Not really sure what to expect from Joe Burrow. I don't really know again what his readiness is. I don't know what kind of preparation they've been doing in practice and things like that. So it's a big question mark to see where he's really at. The Patriots, though, and what a game to come back, right? Your first game back, you're up against arguably, or the best, one of the best teams right now in the AFC in the New England Patriots. So, I gotta go with the Patriots. I gotta give the edge to the Patriots just because of the football that they're playing right now. They're playing complete football, going out there and shocking the world, because I didn't see much in this team the first 2-3 weeks of the season. And even the first 2-3 weeks of the games of the season, they're a completely different team. They've turned it around 180 degrees since then. So, and just playing some fantastic football right now. So, yeah, Bengals definitely have their hands full, even at home. The Patriots have a really big chance to come into their territory and just dominate, I think, in this game.
I mean, again, attempting to get Joe Burrow back by next week to try and make a playoff run, they got to go out and win this game today against New England. They have to. They have to play as hard as they can to win this ball game today, to stay alive and to get Joe Burrow back in there possibly by next week to make its playoff run. If they lose today, I think that would be it for Cincinnati, and I think they would have to redirect their thought on whether they want to bring Joe Burrow back and, try and make that back end run. They would need to hope for a Steelers and a Ravens loss today to even stay alive, because the only way they're going to make the playoffs is by winning their division, just like Kansas City. So if Cincinnati wants any hope of making a playoff, they need to win today's game to stay alive, to bring Burrow back next week and continue that winning ways. So we'll have to see what happens today between the Bengals and the Patriots. The 4:00 set of games, the Cleveland Browns, they head out to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Shedeur Sanders getting his very first start in the NFL. He came in last week when Dylan Gabriel went down, but this is his first official start. What do you got on the Browns and the Raiders?
It's looking like the Tank Bowl, if you ask me. Both of these teams don't look good at all. There are some high expectations, probably outlandish, astronomical expectations for Shedeur Sanders, this being his first real start, full game for the Cleveland Browns. I don't have many expectations for Shedeur. I'm not even going to begin to put that pressure on him to say that he's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't see that happening. I really don't, especially not with this offense. I can expect him to throw for at least a touchdown, and really look a lot better than have the half a game he got when he started when Dylan Gabriel got hurt. So I can at least look forward to that. I would say that's going to be a special moment for him. They should beat the Raiders. I don't see why they wouldn't. The Raiders, again, we talked about this earlier. The Raiders are just all over the place right now. Desperately need a change at quarterback, I would say, to again in the season on a high note. Coming towards the end of the season or within the next 6 games, I'd say. So yeah, but again, this is another odd game. And then on top of that, I mean, it could be, it could honestly end up being a shootout. I mean, we've seen that before, where it's like 2 teams that just look awful, and then they play each other, and it's like, bump it. What else do we have to lose? Our season is falling apart, so let's just go and have a shootout. So it could be that as well.
I mean, I said it last week about one of the games that could end up being. It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. I said this game could end up being one of the biggest games. I believe it was the Jets and the Browns 2 weeks ago. I said, watch this game be like the game of the week. Watch this game be great, and it was a really good game. It was. So even teams that are kind of one leg out, one leg in, or both legs out, and just waiting to be, the axe given to them, could still give us a good game to watch if they're on your, cable channel or if you're watching on a streaming network, because the NFL plans on going full streaming by 2027. So, they're on some of the streaming networks, especially if you have the NFL Live stuff that just currently got added to the ESPN app. So you never know. Browns Raiders can end up being a shootout today, and we just don't know it yet. Like I said, I hope Shedeur Sanders has a great game. I hope he does, because the Raiders passed on him in the draft 5 times. 5 times.
Crazy.
Yeah, they could have had him. Same with the Steelers. Passed them 5 times. So if I was Shedeur, I'd go out there with the intentions of kicking the crap out of this team today.
Yeah,
that's just me. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, along with the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams trying to stay alive in the playoff race. They're on the outside looking in. What do you got on the Jaguars and Cardinals today?
I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I've said this a bunch of times already, but I really like Jacoby Brissett as quarterback for the Cardinals, more so, even more over so to Kyler Murray. I think Jacoby Brissett thus far, he fits. I don't know if he would be a long-term option, but maybe a temporary option, just like Geno was for Seattle. Because I don't know if they ever thought about Geno as a permanent fixture at quarterback. But that's what I'm kind of looking at the same. It's the same, similar scenario out there in Arizona with Jacoby Brissett as quarterback. So I'm liking him right now. He's not playing bad football. It's just this Cardinals team is just again finding ways to still lose, even with him playing as good as he is. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, again, they went and took care of business in that blowout win last week. So I expect them to do, more or less something similar in this game. Again, the Arizona Cardinals are just not playing good football right now. Jaguars, even with a couple of injuries, I think their biggest injury with the superstar Travis Hunter out, they're still winning games. It's still looking like a pretty good season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, kind of giving the edge to them. They shouldn't have any issues right in this game against the Cardinals.
I wanted to pull something up here really quick. Okay, that's what I need. In an NFC South matchup, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who are 3-7, heading out to New Orleans to take on the 2-8 Saints. Both teams on the bottom of the NFC South, Cam, trying to hang on for their playoff lives. The Saints pretty much out. The Falcons at 3-7. They're only 3 games back in the division. Michael Penix out. Kirk Cousins is in. What do you got on the Falcons and Saints?
I mean, the Falcons still have a very exciting offense. Drake London has absolutely been going insane this year. So I'm expecting him to hopefully have another big game today against the Saints.
He's out today.
Never mind. Yeah. that's right. He is out. I did read that. Okay.
It's been out for a couple. Yeah.
Never mind. But no, I mean, the Falcons, I mean, they've had exciting games for sure, but they just, again, this is another team that just cannot close out games. So, and again, just with the injury bug ruining them all through and through with their roster, it's just not good for them. The Saints seem to be picking things up and seem to have found a new quarterback. So, I guess I'll give the slight edge to the Saints in this game. This could be another shootout. This is a divisional game, especially. So both teams are looking to claw and scratch their way to stay alive. So,
all right. In an NFC East battle, the Philadelphia Eagles are 8-2. The Cowboys 4-5-1. The Eagles, it seems like they have a stranglehold on the NFC East at the moment, maybe completely. What do you got on the Eagles and the Cowboys?
So it's so funny because there's been a lot of talk, a lot of crazy talk about this Cowboys team after they beat up on the Raiders. And it's like, okay, you beat the Raiders. Like they're the punching bag right now of the NFL. Like, oh, huh? All the defense looks great. Of course they look good. Like if they can't look good against a team like that, then they're just simply not good. So I don't know. It's there's been a lot of talk, a lot of delusion on ESPN and within their fan base and blah 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 blah. But you know what though? I'm looking at this as a positive because you're building their confidence back up. You're thinking that you're giving them a chance at a run in their division. Because I hope in this game, and especially there's been a lot of talk about the Eagles. Oh, the Eagles offense is boring. Or the defense looks great, but the offense just is boring. Jalen Hurts is not this. He's not that. I'm hoping that they get all of that together in this game, just to not even just to shut the door, to slam the door closed on the Eagles in this game and absolutely demolish the Cowboys and silence all this talk about how great they look after beating the Raiders. So that's what I'm hoping for this game.
You know what I'm hoping for as an Eagles fan? And I'm gonna turn on my Eagles fan mode for a second. I'm hoping for this team who is 8-2, currently the number 1 seed in the playoffs, home field advantage, everything, to cut out all the bullshit drama inside the locker room because you are 8-2. You are the defending Super Bowl champions, and you have all this drama in your locker room. I get it. Every player, every wide receiver, every running back, every offensive lineman, every kicker wants the ball. It's part of the game. It's part of the love of the game. But not everybody can get the ball. A.J. Brown, I love you. I want you to be an Eagle. Sit down on the sideline, read a book. It seemed to help in the past. And everybody just leave Jalen Hurts alone. He's a Super Bowl MVP quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is 8-2, number 1 seed in the playoff race. Home field advantage, everything is in their favor. Yes, they're winning games. Is it ugly? Maybe. Is it by much? No. But they're still winning. That's all that matters. Whether you win by 1 or 100, that's what matters, is they're winning ball games. The drama in the locker room needs to stop. Needs to stop. You are an 8-2 team. 8-2. And every week, there's some type of bull crap. Oh, Jalen Hurts is changing the calls in the huddle, and he's not listening to the coaches, and he's not giving me the ball. Who cares? Do you hear Saquon bitching? And he doesn't even have half the carries he had last year. Hear him complaining? No. Cut the crap. You're an 8-2 freaking ball club. You're in first place as the defending Super Bowl champions. Could lock up the NFC East possibly today with a win against Dallas. Because you already beat the Giants once, lost to them once, beat the Commanders, and you beat the Cowboys once. You win today. That's it. You lock the NFC East up. You lock in your playoffs already at 9 wins. It is unheard of a team to lock up a playoff spot with 9 wins. Normally it's 10. Get your shit together. Get back into the ways of how you guys were last year. A.J. Brown, if you need a new book, just tell me what you want. I'll send it to you. Seriously. Seriously. I will buy you a new book. If we need to get you reading on the sideline again and getting back to where you were last year, I'll buy the book for you and I'll ship it to you. I'm not looking for anything in return. So I'm just trying to help you out.
So would you say the Eagles are like AEW with the backstage drama?
God damn it.
I just put the connection together.
You did. And it's a fairly good observation. An organization that could be great. And just because of the drama, things sound like shit. AEW look like shit. Get it together. Leave Jalen Hurts alone. Let him do his thing. Let him cook. AJ, if you need a new book, I'll send it to you. Devontae, if you were just traveling alone to get away from the drama, kudos to you, buddy. Kudos to you. If your travel solo was for the sole purpose to get away from the drama, kudos to you. But it needs to be done. You're an 8-2 ball club. You win today, you're 9-2 and could possibly clinch a playoff spot today. Win the division today. Officially, probably not. But you're right there. It's right there for you guys just to take. Get it together. Because when we get to the playoffs, there are going to be teams that are going to be coming for you. The Rams, the Bucks, the Packers. The Packers, I'm sure, want revenge after the last couple matchups.
Oh, yeah.
Get it together. Because if not, slim chances of a repeat. Slim chances. And all this talk about A.J. Brown being traded, stop. Stop. I don't know why fans think that every time drama happens, a player needs to go. It's called resolving it. That's what they have in-house counselors for, is for players to go and sit with them and talk and resolve the issues. Not just ship a player out because there's inside the locker room drama. Get it together. Or else come January, come February, instead of being out in Santa Clara, California, at Super Bowl 60, playing, you're going to be watching at home. And you're going to have a very upset city thinking you were right there. Right there. You're going to have fans all around the world sitting there thinking you were right there. And you couldn't tie your own shoes and prevent yourself from tripping. Right now, the favor's in Tampa Bay's hands. Everybody is favoring Tampa Bay to go to the Super Bowl because they ain't got the drama. They just got the injuries. They're cleaning that up week by week. And if they clean that up, they may become one of the most dangerous. San Francisco, one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC. You run into them in the playoffs. That's it. That's it. I wouldn't want to run into San Francisco in the playoffs in this state of mind that this team is in right now. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to run into the Packers. I wouldn't want to run into the Rams or the Bucks or even the Bears, who you play on Black Friday next week, mind you. You go out and play at home against the Bears and you lose on Black Friday, there's a problem. Get it together. That's all I'm saying. And AJ, hit me up. Let me know if you need a new book. I'll send it to you. Just saying. I know he scrolls through Twitch. There's a chance that he may be listening. AJ, you need a new book, buddy. I'll send one to you. I'm just saying. And if you need to talk, you can come on the show. We'll talk. I'm all ears, bud. Let's do it. That's all I'm saying. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. It's the shoe tie line. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's many ways you could trip over your own feet, and I've tripped over my own feet once with untied shoes. It sucks. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I'm one person that you would think would do it too. We got 2 games to talk about yet. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading out to Los Angeles to take on the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Huge matchup here for the NFC side of things in this playoff race. Cam, what do you got on the Bucs and the Rams?
Man, like I said, the Bucs definitely started off red hot, and they just look like they couldn't be stopped, even with the injuries. I think that's caught up to them, and as well as the tough schedule. I mean, they play some tough teams right now. Right now, they're on a 2-game losing streak. I think this is a must win for the Rams, or for the Bucs for sure. And the Rams are playing some great football. Matthew Stafford leading the MVP race right now. He looks unstoppable right now. So the Bucks definitely have their hands full, I would say. So we'll have to see in this. I got to give the edge to the Rams for sure. They just are playing some fantastic football right now. So we'll see what the Bucks can do.
Yeah, it should be a great game tonight on Sunday Night Football. Definitely, I'm excited for it. I'll be watching it tonight. I gotta catch my breath for a second, man. God damn, you're going on a long tangent. Like, whoosh. On Monday Night Football, we got the Carolina Panthers heading out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Both teams are very much in the middle of this playoff race right now. The Panthers trying to take control of the NFC South. Then the 49ers are trying to take control of the NFC West. What do you got on the Panthers and the 49ers?
I would say this is the Panthers' true test to see if they are legit. Again, they've been up and down all season, but they definitely have made leaps and bounds and strides towards something positive. Bryce Young absolutely balling out last week. I mean, throwing for over 400 yards, which is absolutely insane to me. So he's got it in him. The kid definitely has it in him. He has the ability to go out there and ball out and look like a superstar. So. But the real question is, I think, with this matchup, was all of that a facade? Was all of that just a fluke for last week? Or can he go out there and do it again? I don't expect him to throw for 400 plus yards, but can he absolutely, just keep the Panthers in a game and go out there and get the job done? This Panthers team has definitely set themselves up many times in many other games that they've had to be able to win, and they just end up letting the victory slip through their fingers. So they have their hands full again with a very good 49ers team. So we'll definitely have to see, what happens there and see Bryce Young's performance in this particular game. I got to give the edge to the 49ers, though. The 49ers are just on fire right now, and they're having a pretty decent season, I would say. So just a lot of offensive weapons there, and the Panthers defense just, again, have their hands full with all that going on.
All right, we'll have to see what happens on Monday night between the Panthers and the 49ers. Cam, that's it for week 12 in the NFL. Running it down real quick, the pick challenge between me and John. John is 108-58. I am 106-60. I gained some ground on him last week. He's only up by 2 games now. We have a 4-game difference this week. We got the Browns and the Raiders. I took the Browns. He took the Raiders. The Jaguars and Cardinals. I took the Cardinals. He took the Jaguars. Falcons and Saints. I took the Falcons. He took the Saints. And Bucks Rams. I took the Bucks. He took the Rams. So we have a 4-game difference this week. We can end up possibly being tied at the end of this week. So we'll just see what happens. We will let you know the results of that on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube. Real quick, just to before we get out of here, Cam, a report just came across to me. Eagles insider for Channel 10 NBC, John Clark, has just reported that ESPN analyst, former quarterback Alex Smith, he just had some criticism on the Eagles offense. He said that it's not just elementary, it's rudimentary, that we are allowed to be creative. And meaning the whole Jalen Hurts thing. He's just trying to be creative. He is. He goes in, and yes, does he change up the plays? It's been known that he changes up the plays during in the huddle and everything like that. That's what he's being accused for. And Alex Smith is somewhat kind of defending him, I guess, or not, saying that, it's just him being creative or whatever. I don't know. But then Rex Ryan went on to say that the Eagles offense, he sees a junior high offense. A junior high, not high school, not college, a junior high offense. He's saying that they don't have any rub routes and no pick routes. I'm going to hold my tongue. I am not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is for everybody to head over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias after the show. X, TikTok, at the Huddle Hub Pod, YouTube, at the Huddle Hub Pod, YouTube. You got to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow. Help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. It would definitely be appreciated. Cam, your socials are on the bottom. What do you want to let the people know?
Well, definitely keep up with me on Cam's Wrestling Corner. I upload, things about professional wrestling, AEW and WWE primarily, review shows, prediction shows, and just my wrestling opinion that sometimes isn't so popular, but either way, follow if you like or you don't like. I definitely have another video uploading today, so stay tuned for that as well this afternoon. And then in terms of the networks, right here every single Sunday morning with this man next to me on the Huddle Hub talking about some college football and the NFL. And then, of course, on Monday night on River City Radio with another episode of The Table Spot after Monday Night Raw, talking about some Monday Night Raw. And then, of course, me and Metalcore Mike again with the addition of Phil Khan on Wednesday night, every single Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite, talking about some AEW Dynamite. This Wednesday will be the fallout of Full Gear, so stay tuned for that as well. Love and appreciate all you guys coming by and checking out the stream today.
All right, so make sure you're checking out everything that Cam is doing on social media. I'm not just saying this because this man is digitally sitting next to me. Cam's Wrestling Corner. It's just great. Go check it out, follow, and like every video. Show the support because Cam has some great takes on pro wrestling. I'll say that right now. So you want to go check that out. John, real quick, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Candyman JH. John is doing some editing for our college football 26 Dynasty right now. He's posting that stuff up, not only on his YouTube channel, but on the Huddle Hub's YouTube channel as well. We are in season number 7 right now, and we are on the back end of it. We are almost done with season 7. We're about to get into the playoffs. So go check out and get caught up before we get on here and do our stuff for going into season 8. So go check that out. Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat is where you can find me, Metal Mike 714. I do all my content creating on the shows here. I'm starting to go live on TikTok doing gaming. Took my shot at being a part of TikTok's Live Fest, and things fell apart very quickly. That's what happens when you don't build a community going into this thing. It fell apart quickly. Eliminations are on Tuesday. I'm done already. I'm too far back. I need somebody to come in and just drop a universe to get me back into the swing of things. That's pretty much it. That's what I need. So, but I'm pretty much out of it. I'll be live again tomorrow morning. I'm going to be doing morning streams. I'm not going to do night streams. I made my decision. I'm just going to be doing morning streams. That's it. So come join me over there for gaming streams on TikTok in the morning time. Keep an eye out for that. But as far as here on the Huddle podcast, I'll be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with John as we run down the top 25 in college football, talk about week 12 of the NFL, and get you guys ready for the Thanksgiving games on Thursday, because we got Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. So we're going to talk some Thanksgiving games on Thursday. And as Cam said, over on Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media, we got Monday night, the table spot after Monday Night Raw, and we got the boom on Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. With that being said, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as as fast as it can. Until Tuesday, we'll see you guys then. Deuces.